Hello my beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that I have the pleasure of welcoming you on my channel, I'm Vanessa Somuayina and welcome to the fam. So you guys, today's reading is all about what your destiny is right now. So your destiny is sort of like your fate, so this is something that is going to be happening in your life. It's sort of out of your control, you can't really influence it, so you just gotta go with the flow and let it happen. So as time goes by, your destiny constantly changes and things constantly shift in your life. So this is not, your destiny forever. This is just your destiny right now. So I have 4 readings prepared for you. So I would like you to pick one of these 4 groups intuitively. And as usual, I want you to just pick with your intuition, go with whatever group resonates the most with you. So regarding the 4 groups, we have the Black Tourmaline, we have the Carnelian, we have the Sunstone, as well as the Chrysoprase. So yeah, you guys, I just wanted to put it out there that there is no shame in the multiple groups game. So if you feel drawn to 2, maybe even 3 readings, feel free to tune into 2 or 3 readings, because your personal reading about your destiny may be a mixture between multiple groups. Guys, before I get into the reading, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm so grateful and thankful for each and every one of you, and I want you to know that if you're watching this, you're beautiful, you're worthy, and that is exactly what my channel is about. It is about you, it is about self-development, improvement, as well as encouragement and positivity. So thank you guys so much for being these beautiful little unicorns in my life. Thank you so much for allowing me to make these videos and to reach so many of you. So make sure that if you enjoy this video that you give it a thumbs up, because that really pushes my channel as well as my videos to those who need it the most. And if you're new to my channel, make sure that you tune into one of my readings before you subscribe. So yeah, you guys, that is it for the intro. I like to keep it very short and to the point so we can spend more time in the readings, and I'm going to be starting off the readings with the first group, which corresponds to the Black Tourmaline. Hello group number 1, so you chose the Black Tourmaline. So group number 1, first and foremost, a few words on why you may have chosen the Black Tourmaline and why this stone resonated with you. So the Black Tourmaline is for anybody who needs to protect their light, who needs to protect their positive energy. So if you frequently use public transport, or you're frequently in crowds, or sort of just, getting your energy mixed up with other people that, you don't have control over, so to say, who you mix up with, that is who this stone is for. So make sure that you remember to cleanse. Make sure that if you can get a Black Tourmaline, that you get your hands on one, because it has protective energy, especially when you're with other people and in crowds, etc. You don't really have control over who you vibe with and whose energy you come in contact with. So you want to make sure that that does not have any sort of negative effect on your energies. So yeah, group number 1, that may be why you chose the stone. I mean, otherwise you may have also just chosen the stone because its appearance resonated with you. Either way, let's get further into your reading on your destiny. Okay, so group number 1, we have Enlightenment, we have the Priestess, we have the Black Tourmaline, we have Imrama, we have New Beginnings. Then up here we have the 2 Swords, the Fool, the Knight of Cups, the Page of Swords, as well as the 9 of Wands. So group number 1, I want to get straight into your reading about your destiny. So moving right into your reading in Enlightenment, I see that spiritual growth is something that you're destined to have in your life. Spiritual growth is something that is going to continue happening for you. So maybe spirituality is something that is very close to your heart, or just something that you recently discovered. It doesn't really matter. Fact of the matter is that it is going to continue being a part of your life, and growth specifically is something that you're going to be experiencing in the spiritual realms and just generally, with your spirituality. So that is what I see straight off the bat with you. And in the Priestess, I see that, you're going to be the leader of this growth. This growth isn't just going to happen by coincidence. You're going to be the driving force, and you're going to be the one who thought to themselves, I really want to look more into spirituality and how I can grow as a person using spirituality. So I definitely see that that may be why you chose the Black Tourmaline, because the universe sees that you have a need for spiritual growth as well as spiritual protection. So it's not only sending the Black Tourmaline into your life to sort of signalize, hey, you are protected, you can protect yourself in so-and-so way. It is also sending the black tourmaline as well as, you know, the priestess into your life in order to show you that, you know, you can be the driving force to spiritual growth as well as, you know, growth in other areas of your life. Then in Mrama, I see that you're going to be called to journey to a very specific place. So this can be a geographical location. For instance, if you've always wanted to go to Italy, London, if you've always wanted to go to the US, you know, any sort of place that you wanted to go to, if you're meant to be there, if it is like your destiny to have seen that place in your lifetime and to have taken those experiences with you, I see that you're going to feel this calling. You're going to feel sort of like this, you being drawn to this place. So geographically, that could be, like I said, a specific country, but you could also be drawn to a specific place mentally, you know, drawn to a specific state that you may have not been aware of before. And that can all play together with the fact that you have enlightenment in your reading, and spiritual growth is part of your destiny and part of who you are destined to become. In the new beginnings, I see that, you know, beginning a new life on this enlightened path is something that you will be doing. And I see that it may not be easy for you to get to that point where you're like, I need to focus on spirituality. I need to focus on, you know, my growth personally, and sort of let go of how other people may feel about that. So in the Two of Swords, I definitely see that making this decision will come out of a very intuitive place. It'll come out of a place where you know that if you feel drawn to something, then you most likely are supposed to have it in your life. So I see that while the decision may not be easy, it's going to be intuitive and natural for you. So know that anything that your life sort of sends towards you, that you feel drawn to, is meant to be for you and is something that you should pursue, because it'll start a new life cycle. It'll start a new beginning that you may have never been able to reach or attain if you wouldn't have been open enough to actually just let life draw you to whatever life wants to draw you to. Then in the Fool, you know, you are destined to have very sort of like, not foolish energy, very naive energy, where you're like, I'm just gonna listen to my intuition this time. You know, I'm done being rational. I'm done sort of, you know, trying to make sense of everything, because I can't control everything that happens in life. So I definitely see in the Fool a sense of you going into this new beginning of your life blindly. And often that is really good, because when we go into something blindly, especially when, you know, we're not so confident in it just because it's new, and that is completely normal. But when we go into it blindly and without expectations, that is when amazing things can happen, and you can just sort of let things flow, and you're not sort of set on one outcome. Because when you allow a situation to happen without an idea of what you would like the outcome to be, that is when, you know, there are so many different possibilities that reveal themselves to you. Then in the Page of Swords, I see that you're going to sort of start a new leaf also when it comes to how you communicate. I definitely see that that is something that is going to change for you. I see that you're destined to be that person who communicates very clearly and says what they want, even if it rubs anybody the wrong way, just because you know that it's the right thing to do. So in the Knight of Cups, I definitely see that you want to have a good emotional standing with a lot of people. You want to be that person that helps people emotionally, and sometimes there can be, you know, conflict with telling the truth in the Page of Swords, with sort of trying to communicate with people what is truly going on, as well as still sparing feelings and being, you know, kind of nice and welcoming and not rubbing anybody the wrong way. So I definitely see that there may be a little bit of conflict there and a little bit of confusion as to how you can do that in the best possible way. And in the Nine of Wands, I definitely see that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. So group number one, I see that part of your destiny is work, you know, really, really hard work, creative work, work where you're thinking out of the box, out of your bubble, and truly changing things in your life. So even though you may be really tired and exhausted, I see that you're not done yet, and you need to sort of just try and power through, because at the end of the day, you know, all of this enlightenment, all of this sort of energy that you have to be the driving force to driving yourself to success it is something that, you know, is of so much value. And if you give up now, you're going to end up regretting it. So I definitely see in the Nine of Wands, group number 1, you just need to keep pushing even when the going gets tough. And remember that when you really work through these super tough times is when you come out the other end so much stronger, so much more enlightened, and, you know, feeling so accomplished. So group number 1, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, group number 2. So you chose the Carnelian. So group number 2, aside from the fact that this is a gorgeous mineral, I want to speak to you about the deeper meaning of why you may have chosen the Carnelian. So the Carnelian is for anybody who needs to sort of get to know their fears, who needs to come in contact with them, who needs to just, you know, greet them with open arms and say, you know what, I'm not going to allow you to keep controlling my life. So the Carnelian is also for people who need to, you know, let loose a little bit sexually, who need to be a little bit more adventurous, passionate, as well as creative, especially in the sensual and sexual realm. So group number 2, that may be why you chose the Carnelian, but let's move further into your reading to figure out what your destiny is right now. Okay, so group number 2, we have Get Grounded, we have the 10 of Pentacles, we have the 9 of Cups, we have the 7 Deadly Sins, we have the Carnelian, as already mentioned. Then we have Temperance, the 2 of Cups, Dance, as well as Cheer Up. So group number 2, I definitely see in your destiny, you know, the fact that your empath streak is something that you're going to be using. I see that getting grounded and reconnecting with nature is something that you're destined to be doing. So maybe as a kid, you know, you used to hang out in nature a lot, you used to do a lot in nature, and now as an adult, or, you know, just being at a later time in your life, you sort of feel almost like a little bit disconnected from the nature. You feel like you could spend more time doing things outdoors, or you could just, you know, live a more natural and close to earth type of lifestyle. So I definitely see getting more grounded is something that is coming for you. I definitely see, you know, that your empath streak, the fact that you have a lot of compassion with the planet as well as animals, other living beings, is something that is going to come out as a side of you that is going to be revealed more and more, and that is going to become more of your personality and character, because we continuously change and our personality continuously adjusts. So this is an adjustment that I see you making, even though in the 10 of Pentacles, you know, I definitely see financial stability. I see financial abundance. I see that your destiny is to be in a place where finances are not an issue, where you feel like, you know, you're in a good place. So that doesn't mean rich, that doesn't mean just okay. It means that you feel comfortable with your financial situation. To some people, that is just, you know, enough to live comfortably with. To some people, that is extreme wealth. So depending on what you feel most comfortable with, that is what is going to become a reality for you. So in the 10 of Pentacles, you know, we have financial abundance, and we have a time where you can take care of those closest to you, where you can properly take care of your loved ones, where you can properly take care of your pets, and you know that no matter what happens to them, you've set things up, you've sort of put all the ducks in a row for any sort of situation to be dealt with. So, you know, that is healthcare for other people, for your pets, etc. That is having, you know, a little safety net in case something happens, and that is something that I see as part of your destiny, as part of something that will be going on in your life. In these 7 deadly sins, I see that you will come in close contact with humanity's destructive traits. So I definitely see that something that will really shake you is just how destructive humanity can be and how destructive human beings can be. So maybe you will go on a vacation to a beach and see, you know, a ton of plastic and trash washed up, and that will really open your eyes. Or you're going to have a friendship come to an abrupt halt when you notice that, you know, humanity can be very greedy and selfish depending on the situation. So I'm not saying that, you know, that makes you and I perfect. We all have destructive traits. We all have traits that are not, you know, the most amazing. We all have things that we need to work on. But at the same time, you know, it's important to actually face those traits, to actually look them in the eye and say, hey, you know, I'm going to work on you, and I'm going to make sure that you're not a profound part of my identity. So know that an outside influence, like I said, a friendship coming to a halt, or you sort of seeing in real life just how destructive humanity has been, is something that will shake you, and that is something that will make you turn, to introspection and turn to you looking at your destructive traits and how you can work on them and how you can better yourself. Then in Cheer Up, I see that, that will allow you to live in the moment, that will allow you to also sort of, see the positive sides of things, see the fact that you coming to this sort of epiphany where you're like, wow, like, when I turn to introspection and I apply these destructive traits onto myself and I really look into myself and what I could better about myself, you will learn to see it in a positive way. You will learn to be grateful for the fact that you even notice, because there are so many people who never go through this deep phase of introspection, who never actually get the chance to know who they truly are because they have too much fear, because they're not comfortable having this closeness with themselves. They're not comfortable being honest with themselves. So that is also why the Carnelian showed up, being comfortable with yourself, facing those fears of truly getting to know yourself, the good and the bad. That is what I see as a reason why the Carnelian was sent into your life and why you tuned into this reading specifically. So moving further into what your destiny is, I see that shifting your vibration is something that is destined to happen for you. So I definitely see that you will sort of be able to shift your vibration through something physical. So shifting your vibration does not always have to happen mentally, it can also happen physically. So getting out into the nature, as mentioned, and get grounded, getting out and reconnecting with the nature in the most natural you, walking barefoot on different sort of surfaces, all of those things can shift your vibration, as well as just working out, getting moving, etc. Those are all things that can put you in a better space than you were prior to it. So I definitely see that that is part of your destiny, shifting your vibration from where you are now to a different standpoint, just because you find it necessary and you feel like, you're not vibrating on the highest possible frequency for yourself. So in the Two of Cups, I see that rekindling a relationship is part of your destiny. So this is a relationship that already has existed in your life. This is a relationship that you've already had a role in, and I see that rekindling it and moving forward together with a stronger and more sincere bond is something that is going to be happening for sure. So this could be a romantic relationship, this could be a strictly platonic relationship. Either way, I definitely see that, somebody in your life who you are not really that close of friends with for whatever reason is going to make a reappearance and is going to then end up, having a close bond with you, and you're going to be able to move forward, forgetting the past and focusing on the current moment. So in correlation with the 7 deadly sins, you will know that, forgiveness is an important part of being human, because that allows you to invite change in yourself as well as other people, and it allows this inner sense of peace, because when you're constantly affected by a situation that happened, especially emotionally, the only person that you're really hindering from being happy and successful and vibrating on a very positive level is yourself. So know that forgiveness is an act of kindness to yourself. It is an act of self-care, and it is something that you're bound to become better at, that you're destined to become better at. So then in the 9 of Cups, I see, time for celebration. I definitely see that could be because this relationship was rekindled, or, because you're just finally able to celebrate your accomplishments and all of the relationships that are in your life. So obviously this celebration could be, birthdays, graduations, just getting together for festivities, but it also could be a celebration that you've set up for yourself. So know that celebrating yourself and celebrating your accomplishments is something that is so important, and is something that you should not feel uncomfortable with. And I know that it's not always easy. I feel the same way. It's kind of, feels uncomfortable for me sometimes to celebrate my own accomplishments, but you must do that in order to send out the right messages to the universe that you are grateful and thankful for everything that you have been given the opportunity to achieve. Then last but not least, in Temperance, I see that you're destined to sort of be very aware of what it is that you consume, and be very aware of any sort of substances that may be clouding your judgment or maybe clouding you in a mental way. So in temperance, I definitely see, you being shown that you have to step back from, say, alcohol, cigarettes, unhealthy foods, unhealthy habits, just because you cannot continue this way if you want to lead your dream life. So I definitely see some form of you coming to a realization that this is part of humanity's deadly sins, substance abuse, having a form of an addiction, and it could be something as simple as an unhealthy type of food, and you will know that, temperance is something that you need to nip that in the bud, and you need to get control over your emotions and any sort of feelings that, are out of your control when this thing is in the room. So group number 2, I definitely see that part of your destiny is bettering yourself, getting grounded and reconnected with the nature, as well as being really real with all of the bad traits of humanity and all of the not so positive traits about yourself, and become a more well-rounded individual who lives in the moments and knows to cherish all of his or her strengths. So group number 2, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope you enjoyed it and found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Sunstone. So group number 3, aside from the fact that this stone has an amazing name as well as an amazing appearance, I want to quickly speak on behalf of why you may have chosen this stone and what this stone stands for. So this stone is for anybody who is sort of like vitamin D deprived, anybody who needs to get their stamina going, anybody who needs to start getting things done and put more energy into things. So know that the sun is the creator of all life. Know that the sun is what gives us life, as well as it gives us energy. So make sure that you keep in mind that you may have chosen the stone because you need to ramp up your energy and because you need to allow yourself to be out in the sun getting a little more vitamin D. Okay, so group number 3, we have align your life, we have justice, we have death, we have letting go, we have the Sunstone, as already mentioned, we have the King of Cups, we have the Four of Pentacles, the Mirror, as well as Animal Bond. So group number 3, I want to move straight into your reading about your destiny. So I definitely see that your destiny entails, aligning your life and making sure that you truly notice what is not in alignment anymore with who you are. So group number 3, this leads me to think that change is something that is going to be pretty grand in your life. I see change that is going to be going on a very cellular level, and I see change in you as a person, spiritually, mentally, as well as, possibly physically. So I definitely see that, this may have to do with an event in your life where you have to let go of a specific relationship, and it could also be a relationship that you have with yourself. So in death, I see that it has everything to do with the ending of an era, with the ending of something that has been really, really prevalent in your life. And death does not have to be something negative. It could be, for instance, the death of your insecurities about your stomach or your nose. It could be the death of a relationship that was never meant to be and that never truly aligned with you as a person. So know that if you are in a relationship or have been in a relationship where you didn't feel 100% supported, that can have long-term effects. Even if you're single right now or have been single for years, or you're in a new relationship, know that any person that you've come in contact with that has put any sort of fear or doubt or negative feelings about yourself into your life, know that that is something that can continuously be part of your thought process as well as your thought pattern, and it is something that needs to go. So in your destiny, I definitely see the death of a situation similar to that. It doesn't have to be exactly that, but it is pretty damn close to what you're going to be getting rid of. And I see that the death of that is going to be happening all because, the universe is trying to slowly but surely align everything in your life with where you are at your current moment. So right now, you don't have time to waste. You don't have time to focus on any sort of insecurities or self-hate. All that you need to do right now is align yourself with your current vibrations and with the place in life that you want to be in. So know that everything is about justice when it comes to these topics. So it is about justice for yourself, and it's about time that you finally get justice. So I see in your destiny, part of you is going to realize that you need to love yourself enough to let go of anything that is lesser than positive, to let go of anything that doesn't align with the person that you currently are and the person that you would like to become. So know that justice is all about balance. It's all about making sure that when you have a lot of positive things in your life, that you don't put laser sharp focus on the one negative, that you make sure that you see your life as what it is. If there's one little negative and there's heaps of positives, make sure that you don't fall into the trap of only seeing the one negative thing and blowing it out of proportion. Make sure that you see the big heap of positivity. So I see in the mirror that part of your destiny is the fact that you will come face to face with what it is that is triggering you, and this may be a person. So oftentimes it can be somebody who is really close to us, who is supposed to be our biggest supporter, who actually triggers us to sort of feel negatively about ourselves, who kind of triggers us to feel insecure or feel inadequate. So with that, I mean, for instance, looking at parents, looking at siblings, there are so many people in this world who have parents who say have a little bit of a narcissistic streak, or this sort of knack of you only being praised for accomplishments that they like rather than accomplishments that make you happy. So know that these are all things that you are destined to come face to face with, and truly start to realize by yourself that these are triggers and they're triggering you to think lesser of yourself, and you need to sort of take the power away from those triggers and make sure that you realize what those triggers are, because if not, you will never be able to strip them of the power that they have and sort of just let go of that part of you. So in letting go, I definitely see it has everything to do with death and the part that you have to let go of things that don't align with you, as well as you letting go of allowing these triggers to have this much power over you. So group number 3, I want you to know that a trigger is only a trigger if you allow it to be, just like any form of discrimination is often only discrimination if you allow it to be. So yes, there are situations where discrimination and hate is something that you have no control over, but as human beings, often, we do have control over it. So while animals, for instance, do not have control over, us using them for food, for our own selfish needs, as human beings, especially, if you have internet, if you're able to watch this reading, you are most possibly in a situation where you can just take the power away from any sort of discrimination or any sort of hate. So if you don't even give hate, if you don't even give discrimination acknowledgement, if you don't even acknowledge it for what it is, then that means that it doesn't exist. So know that giving hate and giving violence more publicity and more airtime in your head or on social media, etc., often just drives it further, often just spreads the word, and cultivates more people who think like, hey, I want to be part of the oppression, or I want to be part of the situation that isn't really positive. Whereas if you just see it as a non-factor and just move forward in a positive way, not allowing anything to get you down, that is when you start to slowly but surely start to cancel those negative things out and make them extinct. So obviously this does not work with every single thing, but with many things in life it does. And in animal bond, I see that standing up for animals is something that you're destined to do. So you may sort of save a stray cat or a stray dog, you may volunteer at a shelter, or just generally do something for other living beings that are not humans. So know that standing up for animals truly shows a very empathetic streak. It shows a streak in you that is very sensitive to other living beings other than human beings, and it's something that you should reward yourself for, because I see that part of your destiny is also being in a situation where you're maybe overly cheap with yourself, where you're maybe not allowing yourself to just buy that, you know, extra piece of cake, or you're not allowing yourself to get that bag, that pair of shoes, not because you can't financially, but because you're so worried and you're so sort of uptight that you're unwilling to allow yourself to enjoy certain things in life that you know would bring you more joy. So group number 3, I want you to know that there's a reason why you tuned into this reading, and there's a reason why I'm letting you know that this could be part of your destiny. So if you don't allow it to be part of your destiny, and you already realize now that you have tendencies in certain situations to be a little too cheap on yourself and a little bit too cheap on your soul, make sure that you start working on that now. As I can see in the King of Cups, that, you know, you're somebody who is destined to be that person that people look up to. So it may be that you're starting your own family, or you have nieces, nephews, just younger people in your life who look up to you, and you have to lead by example. And being cheap on yourself and your needs and never treating yourself is not a good example and does not show them to value themselves. So know that in the King of Cups, being that strong person emotionally is what you're destined to be. You're destined to be people's rock, and you're destined to be that person who always sort of handles things in a way where you're empathetic and understanding, and you know that if you're working with somebody or doing something with someone and it is their first time trying it, you're not going to knock them as soon as they make a mistake. You're going to be encouraging, and you're going to allow them to better themselves. So group number 3, make sure that you don't fall prey to part of your destiny that, you know, keeps you from enjoying luxuries in life and keeps you from rewarding yourself. Make sure that you embrace all that is good about yourself. Make sure that you embrace the part of you that is, you know, an emotional leader, somebody who is naturally an empath and naturally very giving. Make sure that you put focus and value on that, and make sure that you prioritize self-care from now on a lot more. So group number 3, that is a reading that I received for you. I hope you enjoyed it and found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Chrysoprase. So the Chrysoprase is not only a beautiful radiant green mineral, it also has a deeper meaning, a meaning of you needing to forgive the person who hurt you the most, forgive your parents, forgive yourself, and, you know, move on believing in love. So if you've been stung really badly in the romantic realms and you've sort of like given up on romance and love, know that the Chrysoprase has showed up in your reading in order to allow you to get the energy back, to forgive, move forward in a positive manner, and to continue believing in the power of love and spreading the love. Okay, so group number 4, let's get straight into your reading about your destiny right now. So we have vacation, we have the 7 of Wands, we have the Hermit, we have share your voice, we have boundaries, we have the Queen of Swords, we have the 5 of Wands, as well as good fortune. So group number 4, I'm sure you're more than excited for the fact that part of your destiny is good fortune, and part of your destiny is to invite magic in and sort of just allow that to be a part of your life. So I definitely see, you know, good fortune coming your way. I see that part of your destiny is the fact that that may have to do with vacation. It may have to do with taking time to relax and adventure. That may be, you know, the good fortune coming to you, but the good fortune could come in many different ways. It could be a new loved one, as already mentioned in the Chrysoprase, the fact that, you know, you're finally believing in love again, and that will then all of a sudden attract your soulmate into your life. But it could also be good fortune in the financial realms. Either way, allow magic to come into your life. Allow, you know, shifting your vibration to a point where you are relaxed, where you're able to vacation and you're able to truly recharge. As I can see in the Hermit, that is something that you maybe have been lacking, as I see that part of your destiny is to really learn how to retract, how to retreat away from the world, and use meditation as a way to recultivate energy and recultivate a very calm and collected headspace. So I definitely see that part of your destiny is you being a little more tucked away. It's you maybe spending a little bit more alone time and being able to get to know yourself on a deeper level, because I see that maybe right now you're not 100% sure about who you are, and that may be why boundaries has showed up in your reading. You know, the fact that you have to set boundaries, that it's part of your destiny, that you're not going to just allow anybody and everybody to come into your life and spread any sort of speech or energy that they desire. You are going to set clear boundaries on who you allow into your life and how you allow them into your life. So group number 4, I definitely see, you know, emotional strength coming up, being more mature and caring a lot more about who you spend your time with, and caring a lot more about not mixing up with the wrong crowd or a crowd that doesn't have something good in mind for you. So in sharing your voice, I definitely see that you're going to come out of your cave, so to say. You're going to come out of you sort of being the one who doesn't voice their opinion as much as they really could or should. So yes, in the Hermit, you're going to take time to retract, retreat, and truly think, but that is only going to allow you, you know, to come out a lot stronger. So on one hand, we have retreating and personal growth through introspection and meditation, and at the same time, we have a very much more outspoken you as part of your destiny. We have a part of you that is a lot more expressive and that isn't afraid to, you know, show the world what your opinion is and express that you have boundaries and that you're not willing to just let any Joe Schmo into your life, that you're very picky about who you spend your time with, because you are in fact the average of the 5 people who you spend the most time with. So pick them very wisely, carefully, and make sure that you don't allow anybody to pressure you. Then in vacation, I see that part of your destiny is definitely travel. Part of your destiny is definitely adventure and seeing new places and new things. So group number 4, definitely make it a point to follow through with any travel plans that you have. If you always wanted to go to Japan or Italy or any sort of place that is exotic to you, make time for it, as part of your destiny is to grow through vacationing. Part of your destiny is to grow through travel. So travel doesn't necessarily need to be your vacation. Travel could end up being a part of your job, but you see it as an adventure and you see it as a time to experience new things, and to you that is sort of like a vacation from your day-to-day life. That is part of a vacation. Even if you're traveling for business, you just feel like being in a different place just lightens your mood and uplifts you mentally. So moving further into your reading, group number 4, in the 7 of Wands and as well as in the 5 of Wands, I see sort of like friction, but not in a negative way. I see that you're destined to break free from anybody who has been trying to keep you confined. So as mentioned, you know, it could be your parents that you need to forgive. It could be a past or present relationship that you feel is just trying to keep you in a spot that you don't necessarily want to be in. So I definitely see a sort of power struggle. It could be a power struggle internally, but you know, there is like some sort of knot here that needs to be released by you following your heart. So in the 7 of Wands, I definitely see that at the end of the day, heart is going to win over matter. You're going to be following what your heart sort of feels is right for you instead of what your mind is telling you to feel. So what the heart wants is what the heart wants, and what the mind wants is what it thinks the heart should want. So those are 2 very different things, group number 4, and I want you to keep that in mind, and I want you to know that at the end of the day, your heart's desires is what is going to take over and win in your life. That is your destiny right now. So you might as well just make it easier for yourself right now after this reading and follow what your heart is telling you to do. Follow your heart's desires and don't sort of waste time in situations that you feel don't resonate with you, places in your life that you feel are not 100% made for you. Then in the Queen of Swords, I see, you know, energy of you being very decisive. Okay, so I see very smart energy, very intelligent energy, an energy that isn't afraid to just say how they feel. So as I already mentioned in Share Your Voice, you're going to be able to just express yourself in a very eloquent way, yet very clearly and in a way that sets boundaries. So I definitely see in the Queen of Swords in correlation with the other cards in your reading, the fact that, you know, you may rub people the wrong way. People may be like, wow, where did this voice all of a sudden come from? Where did this sort of energy come from, this strength? But you're going to know that you need strength in order to make the best of your life. You're going to be very sure of yourself, and you're going to be the one who tells people the truth, whether they like it or not. So obviously there's always a little bit of a concern of rubbing people the wrong way or of starting an argument, but I see that, you know, part of your destiny is to be the truth teller, the one who would rather be truthful than, you know, cover it up with a lie to comfort people, because you know that life sometimes hurts. You know that the truth hurts sometimes, and whether people like it or not, the truth is what needs to transpire, and the truth is what is best for growth and what is best for everybody involved. So I definitely see a lot of maturing as part of your destiny. I definitely see you being the one that people confide in when they really want an honest answer, an honest opinion, not one that is biased, and you're going to be unafraid to give it to people. So part of your destiny is definitely travel. It's definitely following your heart instead of what you've been told to do, and forgiving people who you feel have really screwed up things for you, or who have enabled you to maybe do things that were not so positive for your life and the outcome of your life. So forgiveness is a big part of your destiny. Travel, as well as, you know, finally having that streak of good fortune, of finally being that one who is lucky and who can invite magic into their life, all while being themselves and, you know, sharing their voice. So group number 4, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading.